My name is Gary Emanuel, defensive line coach at Rutgers University. First drill we're talking about will be a shed tackle that we use anywhere on the line of scrimmage, or it can for anybody who's playing. Again, we're trying to secure the blocker, play our gap control, and then shed the man, and then make the tackle, put our face on the ball, bite the ball. We'll do both things. We'll do things out of left and right-handed stance, strike the man, secure the block, put your face on the football. Once we do this both sides, then the next phase of it would be for a cutback run where the ball carrier has now started to your gap, then he cuts opposite, so we got to shed the blocker to our gap and then come back across and get involved in the tackle and put your face on the ball. Same thing, opposite stance here. Ball carrier's coming to our gap side, cuts back, shed the blocker, put your face on the ball. Let's talk about the stance we use here at Rutgers University. We use a three-point stance. If you see number 95, the one to the right of the football, is in a right-handed stance, and number 55 to the left of the football is in a left-handed stance. They're identical stances both ways. We like to have our feet shoulder width apart. Our back foot in 95's case is right foot, 55's case is left foot. It's about a heel-toe stagger. We have some weight on our hand, and we have our off hand ready to go. In 95's case would be his left hand, and 55's case would be his right hand. We call that our stab hand. And again, we're in a right-handed stance or a left-handed stance, feet shoulder width apart, a heel-toe stagger, and what I call it is a comfortable and performance stance. It might be a little bit different for each kid depending on how tall they are. A little more long-legged kid might have a little bit longer stance. But basically it's a three-point stance, right hand down or left hand down, off hand ready to go in a punch position or a stab position. Your back foot is at a heel-toe stagger, and then we're coming out of a stance and then getting ready to do our work. Get-offs, what we do for our get-offs, again, we're trying to get off the ball. This case here, we might be playing the run first. As you see, number 55, the nose guard, shooting his hands, checking the run. Then we proceed to get off the ball. All it is a drill to keep your defensive linemen on sides. Again, they're keying the ball, not sound. They're getting off on movement, either ball or man. Whatever moves first, that's our stimulus to go. As you see them, we're trying to give them a hard count. You give them a quick count. They get up, crowd the ball, close as they can, key the ball, and get off on the ball. And we will go do this both ways, right and left-handed stances. Everything we do is right and left-handed stance. Next thing we do is come out, change the direction, same thing. We got to get off. Then we're giving them a point. We go break foot, drive foot, so we're not wasting steps as we go. And then we'll do this to the right. We'll do it to the left. This one here will be to our left. Coming out, break foot, drive foot, then sprint through the line of scrimmage there. Just again, changing direction as a defensive lineman. We have to be able to do that. Okay, right, left. They don't know which way it's coming out. Okay, next time we have it, then we could add in the pass. We're coming out of our stance, same thing, get off, pass. Then once we reach the quarterback, term I use is tomahawk chop. We're trying to chop. We'd like to get the ball out. Get the ball out. Force a fumble. Force a turnover. Get the ball out. Okay, then we have the draw. Okay, give them the signal for the draw. Then what we do is retrace over our inside shoulder. As you see, 95 and 99 are retracing over the inside shoulder, which is their right shoulder. 55 and 45 are retracing over their left shoulder, which is the inside shoulder. Retrace, come back downhill on the draw. Quick hands. In order to play in the defensive line, we have to get our hands moving. We want to get our hands from the point, from the ground to the man as quickly as you can. In this case here, we're using a blocking sled. We want to get our hands from the ground as quickly as you can. Elbows in, thumbs up, heel of your hand. Work your hands from low to high. Work your hands above the eyes. As you punch, sink your hips. You will see some doing it better than others. But again, speed of the hands is critical. Work your hands from low to high, hands above your eyes. We can do the same drill against a man, which will be the next phase that we're doing right here. Again, we're carrying the ball, coming from low to high. Work your hands from the ground to the man as quickly as you can. Work your hands above the eyes and sink your hips, because all your power comes in your hips. And the stab of your hands, that can stop the offensive man's charge. Once we do that, then the next phase of it would be the offensive man coming out in three-point stance, so you can feel that your hips and your hands are going to stop his charges. The same drill for the man down on the ground. Okay, we're getting our hands from the ground to the chest plate, elbows in, thumbs up, hit with the heel of the hand, and your hips and your hands will stop his charge. Again, the speed of the hands is critical. Hips, hands, stop his charge. In the interior line, you always will have low blocks. What we're doing here, my gap is to my right. I'm in my left-handed stance. My gap side is to my right of 92 here. What I'm doing, I will give ground to keep my feet. What I like to do is look my hands through his shoulders and helmet and push that down to the ground, and I'll give ground to keep my feet. I will sacrifice ground to keep my feet. Okay, as you see, his gap is to his right. His gap is to his right. So we're stepping up. Everything stays the same. We're taking a step out of our stance. Hands down on the shoulders and helmet. Give ground to keep your feet. You're giving ground to your gap. And again, we'll come back and do the same thing. Now, my gap is to my left. I'm stepping at the man. Punch down. You're giving ground, protecting your gap side, arm, and leg. You will sacrifice some ground to keep your feet. Give ground to keep your feet. Once we do this drill here with the bags, and again it tells you who your knee benders are, then what we'll do is we'll do it against a man. We'll have the man down on all 6-point stance here as he's lunging. I'm stepping as a defensive guy. My gap is to my left here. And as you see, the offensive guy is going to reach for that outside leg because we get a lot of cut blocks in the line. So I'm going to give ground to keep my feet. Again, punch it down, look it down. Give ground to keep your feet. You want to give ground to keep your feet. We do the same thing going the opposite way. Now the gap is to my right. As 99 is going down, the gap is to his right. You want to punch down. You want to give ground to keep your feet. As I step up, I want to give ground to keep my feet. So here 99 is in a right left-handed stance. His gap is to his right. You give ground to keep your feet. Give ground to keep your feet. Push, pull, or shoulder turn. Now my gap is to my right here. The people that back to us here are in defense. They're trying to lock out their gap side arm and press their gap side leg and get up the field as we get some penetration on the line of scrimmage. Okay, again, pressing, the gap's to my right. What happens in this drill here is the defense is their gaps to the right. The offense is working a little bit to their left just so they can feel a little bit of pressure. We're trying to get a knockback as we go because we don't want to get stretched too wide on the defensive front there. Again, as we go, you can see we're trying to get a knockback. Pressing to my gap side, which is to my right there. Now, this time here, it should be my gap is to my left. I'm pressing my left arm, trying to get that free and my left leg free. As I would be playing a reach block, I'm pushing with my left arm, I'm pulling with my right arm. And the offense, which is looking at us, is shuffling a little bit to their right. Same thing, I've already taken my step up to base with my back foot here, my right foot. So I'm in the fit position here, offense shuffling to their right. My gap is to my left. I'm locking up my gap side, arm and leg. As I come off, the next phase of it would be trying to get lateral and shuffle down the line, because this play here now is going outside to your left. Defense has their back to us here as we're talking. Getting into the pass rush area, first thing we like to do is run the hoops, teach our guys how to lean. You want to always have that toe, inside toe pointed direction you're going around the hoop. And it's just a race around the hoop. You can make it competitive for your guys, and the loser does an up-down or some kind of push-up or some kind of drill. We will do this going both to the right and to the left. In a right-handed stance and a left-handed stance, as you can see, 92 lost, so 92 is doing a up-downs for losing the race around the hoop. So what we're trying to do is get the inside shoulder down so we can turn corners, and this will help you in any kind of movement that you're doing. So now I understand I got to turn a corner as I make my movement around the hoop. Now what we do is run a figure eight. We're trying to run the same thing, figure eight around the hoop. So we're leaning, running both directions. Again, trying to get that toe pointed straight ahead as we take around the hoop. This time here, the same figure eight drill. Now our stimulus, instead of being a ball, is the man who's standing inside the hoop who's giving me his hands. I'm making the pass rush move over his hands, and I'm turning and leaning. Okay, then we'll have the guy flip around, so now we get 4 opportunities to make a pass rush move as we come around the hoop. Turn the corner, turn and lean. After we do the pass rush moves, the next thing we'll do is just have a chase. So now the stimulus is the front man, the back man is trying to tap his hip. If I touch him as I run the figure eight, then again we have some kind of consequence for not completing it, and he will do an up, down, or a push up, or whatever you want to have the guy do. And we'll do that chasing going to the right and also to the left. Another phase of the pass rush will be closing the distance. All I'm trying to do is we have the offensive man set back a little bit deeper than usual. Number 90 here is getting off on his movement. I'm trying to get to his outside shoulder. Again, keying movement as my stimulus, because we don't have a ball right here. Just trying to get to the outside shoulder there, reaching for the outside shoulder with my outside hand. See, 97 is reaching for 90 is reaching for 97's outside shoulder. Here we go, same drill here. Now, the first one was out of a left-handed stance. This one here, 99 is in the left-handed stance, right-handed stance. And now we're trying to get to the outside shoulder and just get the hips open before he takes it to the next level. Hips open, pull it down, then we get the next move coming off the pass rush move there. Big bags, now we're turning and leaning. As we go through, we're working the hands on the bags here. A slap rip, over the top, punch it through. Then once we come around the last bag, we're trying to get a chop on the quarterback's throwing hand. Again, we want to stay as tight as we can to the bags as we work our way through. We're weaving from side to side, come through and finish, and we'll do both these drills going to the right and to the left as we're coming around for a quarterback, because we don't know what side we're going to be on as we come around and turn the corner. So again, as we come through, the man's coming through, we're making a move on the bag, we're chopping, slapping it, some good hand upper body movement as we come through on the bags. Next thing we'll do is we'll put the bag on the other side and then finish the drill coming out the other way, where the guy will go to the other side of the bag here. Here's another good one here coming around nice as tight as you can, then get that chop at the end. Now bags just the other way here. Again, movement, upper body, stay tight as you can, and get a chop on the bag as you come around. Chop on the quarterback's arm as you come around. Again, now we're working, slapping it, getting the arm under, arm over, and then get a chop on the quarterback's arm. Coaches, I hope this has helped you guys develop your players. I want to thank you for your time, and hopefully this will help you get your players to become better defensive linemen and better football players. Thank you.